Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. All right, folks, here we are before market close on Monday, September 13th. We're going to take a look at MVST today. This ticker was requested by somebody in the comments in a previous video. And this is just to say that if you would like to request a video, please leave the ticker symbol, just the ticker symbol, not the company name, in the comments below. And if I reply to you and say that I've added it to the list, then you can rest assured that I have it. It's just on a lengthy list. And if I don't reply, just feel free to drop the comment again on this video or on a different video. That's totally fine. I don't mind at all. All right, so MVST, as you see here, had shot up a bit earlier in the year. I believe that this was a Wall Street bets maneuver, if we want to call it that. But there might have been more to it than that. I'm not super familiar with the ticker. I'm mostly just taking these requests and then doing trend or chart analysis on them. So that's what I'm going to focus on here. But as we see, it's been beaten down quite a bit from its highs there at 25.20, sitting at less than half that at the moment. And there are some interesting things developing here. So it was on a nice green streak it had. This day was up over 4%, over 7.5% on that day, 6.78. So some really good legs up, and then has just recently started to peel back a little bit. On Friday, it was down under a percent, and then today it's getting smashed down almost 14% at the moment. That said, this sell volume is clocking in generally lower than the buy volume, especially the buy volume that started here on this 6.78% up day. So that it might come and go relatively quickly. I don't know. I couldn't find any news on it. There might be something that I'm just unaware of, and feel free to drop that in the comments below if you are aware of something that you would like to share with others. But yeah, to be honest, I didn't see anything, and I didn't know if it was just a reaction to people taking profit or speculating if this was, I don't know, overextended with this little run up here, which doesn't seem like much, but I mean, it also is trying to gather strength over the 50 MA, and sometimes that can wreak havoc. So it's obviously still in an overall bear trend, as you see the red 200 MA quite a bit above the price action at the moment. Now, I do see something that could be kind of forming here. I wanted to see how well this is laying out. Actually, pretty good. So if we take this wedge here that's forming, we do see the price starting to compress within this zone. And so this could be gearing up for some large move as it pushes itself out of here by the end of the month at the latest. It looks like it could certainly hop out before then, as it just starts to get into this confined zone. These don't mean that this has to or that it will trudge itself to the very end point of this wedge or this triangle, but rather it could push itself out at any time. And what we look for from these are some sort of large break. Now, just remember that large break could come in either direction. So certainly if it loses support of this previous trend line that it established around August 4th and then reconfirmed here toward the end of August and toward the beginning of September, then that could spell sell-off, could spell more sell-off. If it comes down and makes a really strong move out the top, then that could indicate some upward bullish momentum that could be coming in, especially if that combines with volume. We always want to see the volume combo coming in for any of these type of breaks. But yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, it could also just kind of move sideways. It doesn't have to do anything as it gets through here, but it gives us something to kind of watch as we try to dissect, when the next best play might come in for MVST. The other things that it has here is it has natural support at the 20 MA right now, and I wouldn't necessarily say that it's yet turning the 50 MA into resistance. I think tomorrow will either confirm that or sort of put that in question again if it makes another run up and tries to establish over the 50. But if it does establish over the 50, it's likely going to carry it out of the upper end of this wedge very, very soon. But if it continues to fall, it has quite a bit of ways to go here, clearly into the nines, well through the nines. definitely lower than 950 could support this for quite some time. And that's 20 MA sitting at 973 right now. Now on the MACD, we do see it curling. So it is indicating that it wants to, or not that it wants to, but that it may effectuate a bearish crossover with the MACD crossing below the signal line and then pulling the price down much further. Now that said, it could be like squashed pretty quickly like you saw here. This just sort of like more consolidated than anything, and then it had a nice bump up. So if you see that again, that could indicate that there's more bullish momentum to be had here if the bearish momentum can't really sink its teeth in and get anything going in any meaningful way, shape, or form. But that's what I'm going to be looking for the near term. And then when it does come out, so I see two potential breakout areas if it can show really solid price strength. The one would be if it can establish itself up out of this wedge. Obviously, that's the first thing that it needs to have happen. Like I said, it could fall through and have a pretty dramatic sell-off as well. So sort of trying to choose a direction, and today is obviously a really big sell-off just, in a single day. But there is previously all of this topping out, and this actually extends, back here also. So if it can establish price action above this green box, it could throw in a pretty big breakout. I don't know if it will, but it's something to keep an eye on. If it moves out of this wedge and then makes a really strong gesture up out of this green box, then it's going to encounter the 200 MA really quickly. But if it can pop itself over that, then we're potentially looking at trend reversal type scenarios where the price activity could start spending its time above the 200 MA and move itself into a bullish trend overall. But that's a lot of speculation, and but those are the things that I would be looking for in that order: breaking out through the wedge to the upside, breaking through this green box here where we saw the previous topping out, and to me, the break through this green box would be a strong sign of potential big bullish run coming up. But as anything, we have to keep really close eyes on these things because they can shift with the wind, as I'm sure you know. If we want to take a quick look at just what the heck went on today, I'll throw these MAs off of here just to get them out of the way, and we'll pull in the VWAP. So we saw on Friday it had made this nice run at the VWAP, reclaimed, and then was able to push off really, really strongly. And it looks like in the pre-market, it started to have some spotty activity, slightly down, leaning into open, and then just sold off really hard for the first hour, and then tried to reclaim, briefly did, but lost that within, 15 minutes or so. It lost that reclaim, bumped its head a bunch of times, and then just started moving away. And to me, when I'm trading intraday, this is what I look for something that's not just a bear trap, meaning if there's algos that are just taking out people's stop losses and buys and stuff by hanging around the VWAP for some time, when it starts to really increase the distance from the VWAP and the price action in a significant way, like you saw here, it's clearly just moving away, then there's often more pain to come. And you do see the MACD steep sell-off here toward the end. Now it's trying to reverse that at the moment, but we'll see. It had a brief bullish blip here, but that didn't really maintain at all. So we'll see if MVST can stop the bleeding from today. That'll obviously be the first thing before it even then starts to track anything on the daily. But that's what I'm going to be looking for the time being. And, good luck if you're in this one. I hope that you held up okay today. It certainly is a challenging day to get caught in a position potentially, but obviously keep your risk to reward ratios in mind, keep your risk in order always, and make your best decisions based on your own trading style and things that you find that works. It's always the tricky thing with making videos is it's just sort of me speaking to things that I've seen work in the past or ways that I've seen things play out, but I always encourage people to develop their own system and not rely on anyone else to tell you X, Y, or Z. It's certainly not what I'm here for. I know it's not what most folks that are coming in and just trying to share some thoughts are doing, but giving people some ideas that hopefully they can grasp onto and say, that idea of this topping out, this idea of wedging out, this idea of supply and demand zones, like this idea of picking up on the MAs, following the MACD, maybe these things, following the volume, maybe these things could serve some purpose, and then trying out those techniques and those tactics and seeing if it works for you. And if it doesn't, just discard it and move on. But I always think it's important to develop your own style and figure out what works best for you and just forge ahead with that. All right, well, I certainly hope your trading week got off to a good start. Obviously not with MVST, but maybe some folks grabbed a dip buy that they feel confident in pursuing. I would be waiting to see what it's doing in this wedge for the time being, and I'll keep track of it, and maybe I'll update on my Twitter, which I'll put in the description below, if there's anything interesting that I see that develops on MVST. All right, folks, so I hope you have a solid trading week ahead, and I certainly appreciate you watching. I will see you in the next video.